Mr. Hatton again with question 5 of part 1. I'm going to dedicate this whole video to question 5 because it does have quite a few steps involved. So let's take a look at that. We have 2 points, the point 10, 10, and the point 15, 25. And we want to know which one of the points, there's 4 points, A, B, C, and D, would be located on that same line. So if this is point M and this is point N, you can imagine that somewhere, if this is a graph, okay, you can imagine we have a line that looks something like this. So if we call this 10, 10, maybe like this, then maybe this would be the point 15, maybe something like this. So imagine this being point M and this point being point N, and we need to know from all the possible answers which one of them would be on that same line. So we could take time to do something like this. If you have a really good piece of graph paper and you can be very accurate, you could draw a graph and you could then figure out which other point is on the line. But when we don't have a graph, we're going to have to come up with an equation or a function and then determine which one of the points works in that function. Which one of those points has an input and an output that works with the function. So the first thing we need to know is, remember, we're doing y equals mx plus b. And in order to write an equation, we need to know what m and what b is. So let's start off with finding m. Well, if we have 2 points, we can either use the slope formula, all right, or we can do kind of the cheater version and just kind of put them into a table, right? So if I put 15, 25, and then slide the other one kind of underneath there, what we've done is made ourselves kind of a table with x values here and y values here. So what is the difference between 25 and 10? Well, that would be 15. What is the difference between 15 and 10? That would be 5. So I have the change in y over change in x would be 15 over 5, which equals 3. So that means my m, so my change in y over change of x is the same as m, and that equals 3. So I've got y equals 3x, but now I don't know what b is. Well, one of the things that we can do is we can take one of these pairs, either 10, 10 or 15, 25, and substitute that into the equation as the x and the y, and then we can solve for b. Looks something like this. I'm just going to use the 10s because it's going to be hard to screw that up. So I put a 10 here, and then 3 times 10 here, plus b. So now to get b by itself, I know that 3 times 10 is 30, so I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides, and that's going to leave me with negative 20 equals b. So now I have my equation. Y equals 3x minus 20. So now what I have to do is I have to take the answers, and I have to one by one substitute them into this equation and see if they work. And I'm just going to do the first one for you. The first one, A, is the point 0, 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute x. So remember, this is x and this is y. I'm going to substitute 0 in for x and 0 in for y. And after I'm done solving this, both sides should equal each other if this point is on that line. So let's see here. If I've got 0 equals 3 times 0 minus 20, and 0 times 3 is 0, that means that 0 equals negative 20. Well, we know that 0 does not equal negative 20, so this point A is definitely not on the same line. Now, when we choose an x and a y coordinate pair and substitute them in, and then after we solve both sides are equal, then we know that that is the answer. So I know the process is kind of long, but I trust that you guys can do it. Remember, resilience, stick to it, and good luck to you guys.